you've been at music a pretty good while.
Yeah.
Would you say you're happy with what you've achieved?
I am, and it's weird. I had someone ask me if I regret not being famous. That was the big question, and I think if you asked me 20 years ago when I started doing this, I would have said, yeah, if I'm not famous, I'm going to be really upset. But there's so much more to music than the notoriety and the fame. I mean, it's really kind of a spiritual position that I take with it now, and being so. The material stuff really doesn't have much to do with it. And what I get most out of music is that this really feels like what I'm supposed to be doing. I think because I have a purpose in life, I'm fulfilled.
Would you say it's mostly a self-satisfaction thing, or do you feel like you have a message maybe that somebody, one person even, might need to hear?
I do, and I get fan mail a lot from people who tell me how much my music touches them and means a lot to them. And when I get those emails, I really stop and think, well, what is it that I'm doing? And what I'm doing is I'm expressing myself. So I feel like my charge is to keep doing that.
Right.
To keep true to myself. And every now and again, I'll wander down a commercial path and think, oh, this is pretty good because there's more people involved, or there's record labels involved, or there's a company that likes this jingle. But then I kind of always come back to the center and realize that there's something I'm here to do.
And I know we're kind of straying from what we had talked about maybe, but you've had some dealings with record companies and other songwriters and stuff, and you've had some good feedback and some not so good, I don't want to say bad feedback, but things that maybe you weren't expecting to hear. Is that accurate to say?
I mean, music industry, when you look at it from the business perspective, it's really no different from the T-shirt industry. I mean, the one difference is that the person becomes the product.
Right.
So there's a moral question there of treating somebody as a means to an end. And the way that moral question is resolved is that the musician signs up for this. I mean, it's sort of, you kind of know what you're getting into. So it's not like you can say, you can shake your fist at these people, you're so mean, or you're so... But you know what you're getting into. Anyone who wants to be on a label should understand that it's hard work. It's very disappointing work. It's very, it's not for the thick-skinned. There's a lot of insults, or not for the thin-skinned.
Would it be safe to say you become property of a label company or a record company?
But as I say that, once you get behind, or once you have a machine like that behind your name or your brand, it's easier to sustain a career after that, because you already have people. Most of the people who still listen to my music, they found out about me because of the record I made with Universal Records.
Okay.
And because that's the case, they want to hear more of that, and they'll check out some of my solo stuff. And usually they'll say, man, that record that you made back then meant so much to me, and it resonates on a nostalgic level. I feel like I did when I was 19 when I listened to your music, because that's when they discovered me. So there is a plus side to it. It's not always a bad thing, even if you don't break through the charts. You know?
Yes. I've struggled with the question personally myself. Is it better to have 10 minutes of fame or in front of the cameras and the lights, or is it better to have a whole career under the radar? And I go both ways with it sometimes.
And it was nice to have, we had a summer where our band was on top, and it was cool, and it was great, and we were able to, I remember driving through Houston, Texas, hearing our song on the radio, going to the club, and it's sold out, and you're like, this was what we signed up for. This is great. So it's all good, there's some, actually it's not all good. There's some good parts and some bad parts to the whole industrialization of music.
Is there any remorse there, though, to be where you are now compared to that?
No, there's just some, it's business.
Yeah.
It just, and if you take business personally, it can really hurt you.
So you've done quite a few CDs already in your time, right? What's on the horizon?
For me, I kind of, since I built this place, I kind of have the resources to do an album every year. And that's sort of, every year I put out a collection of music, and this year I have a new collection that's coming out, and I'm really proud of it. It's called Pillar of the Sun, and it's a collection of, I don't want to say outtakes because there were previously written songs that just haven't shown up on a record yet, so I took the time to address them.
The B-sides?
They're kind of B-sides, but they're no B-sides anymore.
Yeah, that's an old term, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing about it is it didn't just, okay, took the old mixes and threw, I just recut everything, but just pretended like, okay, here's your collection of songs for the year. Let's make this happen. And it's really fun. It's a good record.
Cool.